On a biting March morning in Ottawa, March 14, 2025, Mark Carney strides to the podium outside Rideau Hall, Canada's new Prime Minister, with the weight of a nation on his shoulders. The crowd hushes, breath fogging in the air as he locks eyes with the cameras and the world. Canada will never in any shape or form be part of the US, he fires off.
We will never, ever, in any way, shape, or form, be part of the United States. America is not Canada.
Each word landing like a hammer on steel. This isn't a soft opening or a diplomatic sidestep. It's a cannon blast aimed straight at US President Donald Trump, who's been tossing around the idea of Canada as the 51st state like it's a barstool bet. In those 9 words, Carney doesn't just draw a line. He carves it deep into the frozen ground, sparking a surge of national pride and a flurry of questions. What's driving this unapologetic stand? How did we get here? And what's at stake in this high-stakes showdown between neighbors? Hold tight. This isn't just a speech. It's the opening salvo in a battle for identity, sovereignty, and the soul of a nation. To understand Carney's fiery debut, we need to rewind a bit. Donald Trump, back in the White House after his 2024 victory, hasn't wasted time stirring the pot. By early 2025, US-Canada relations are a simmering mess, thanks to a trade war. That's seen tariffs slapped on everything from Canadian lumber to aluminum. Trump, never one for subtlety, took it further in a January rally, musing aloud, "Canada's basically ours already. Why not make it official? The 51st state. They'd love it." The crowd cheered, but north of the border the reaction was a collective eye roll mixed with growing unease. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio didn't help, chiming in with a claim that Canada's economy would thrive under American governance, citing GDP projections and resource integration. To Canadians it sounded less like an offer and more like a takeover pitch. Enter Mark Carney, the former Bank of Canada and Bank of England governor, now Canada's PM after a decisive Liberal win in the February 2025 election, isn't here to play nice. Known for his cool-headed economic savvy, Carney's first speech signals he's not afraid to bare some teeth. His never isn't just a rejection, it's a rallying cry tapping into a deep vein of Canadian identity that's been tested but never broken. Canada and the US have always been siblings with a complicated relationship, close enough to share a 5,525-mile border, but distinct enough to bicker over everything from hockey to healthcare. Canada's refusal to merge with its southern neighbor isn't new. Back in 1775, American revolutionaries tried to coax Quebec into joining their rebellion against Britain, only to be met with a polite non merci. The War of 1812 saw British Canada fend off US invasions, burning the White House along the way, a fact Canadians still quietly relish. Even in peacetime, proposals like the 1911 Free Trade Agreement floundered when Canadians feared it was a stepping stone to annexation. Carney knows this history. In his speech, he nods to it, saying, "We're not just a geography next to someone else. We're a nation with a system, a culture, a way of doing things that's ours." It's a reminder that Canada's parliamentary democracy, universal healthcare, and bilingual heartbeat aren't American imports. They're homegrown, forged in a crucible of cold winters and stubborn independence. But this isn't 1812, and the weapons today are tariffs, not muskets. Trump's 25% tariffs on Canadian goods, announced in December 2024, hit hard. Lumber prices spiked, auto manufacturers scrambled, and small businesses along the border felt the squeeze. Carney, in his pre-PM days, had warned of such escalation, predicting a lose-lose spiral. Now as leader, he's doubling down. "We'll match every tariff with one of our own until respect is shown," he vowed in his speech, promising to protect Canadian jobs and sovereignty. Analysts estimate the trade war's already cost both economies billions, with no end in sight. Trump's 51st state quip might have been off the cuff, but it fueled a narrative that Canada's economic woes, exacerbated by the tariffs, could be solved by folding into the US Rubio's stats about GDP growth under annexation. Didn't land well, though. Carney called them crazy, pointing out that Canada's $2.1 trillion economy, 2024 figures, stands strong, bolstered by resources like oil, timber, and tech innovation hubs in Toronto and Vancouver. Surrendering that. For a star on the US flag, not a chance, says Carney. Who is this guy drawing such a hard line? Mark Carney's no typical politician. Born in Fort Smith, Northwest Territories, he's a small-town kid who climbed the global ladder, Harvard, Oxford, Goldman Sachs, and then helming two of the world's most influential central banks. He's got a reputation as a steady hand, guiding economies through crises like the 2008 financial meltdown and Brexit. But he's also got a streak of grit. In his Bank of England days, he faced down critics with a mix of data and dry wit, once famously telling a heckler, "I've got the numbers, you've got the noise." As PM, Carney's bringing that blend of intellect and steel. His election win came on a platform of economic renewal and national pride, resonating with Canadians tired of being seen as America's polite sidekick. His first speech proves he's not just crunching numbers, he's channeling a visceral us versus them energy that's rare in Canadian politics. How's this landing with the public? Pretty well, if you ask around. In Toronto, barista Jamie Leclerc tells me, Trump acts like we're his backyard. Carney's saying, "Nope, we've got our own house." In Calgary, oil worker Raj Patel agrees, "We've got enough to stand on, why give it up?" Polls from March 16, 2025 show Carney's approval at 68%, with 73% of Canadians rejecting any notion of US integration. Social media's ablaze too, #Canada not for sale. Trends on X, alongside memes of Carney as a Mountie staring down a cartoon Trump. Not everyone's on board though. Some business leaders, like Vancouver-based exporter Linda Chen, worry the trade war's tit-for-tat will tank profits. "I get the pride thing," she says, "but my shipments are down 30%. We need a deal, not a standoff." It's a fair point. Carney's defiance could cost jobs if the US digs in. But for now, the national mood leans towards standing tall. Beyond Canada, the world's taking note. Allies like the UK and EU, already wary of Trump's America First redux, see Carney's stance as a signal that smaller powers won't just roll over. French President Emmanuel Macron tweeted support. "Canada's sovereignty is non-negotiable. Bravo, PM Carney." Meanwhile, China's watching with interest, potentially eyeing Canada as a trade partner to counter US pressure. It's a chess game, and Carney's opening move has shifted the board. Back in the US, reactions are predictably split. Trump doubled down on X, posting, "Canada needs us more than we need them. Bad move, Mark." Fox News pundits call Carney arrogant, while CNN analysts praise his gutsy clarity. Ordinary Americans, though, many shrug. "I don't care if Canada joins or not," says Ohio mechanic Tom Rees. "Just keep the beer coming." Carney's never sets the tone, but the road ahead rocky. Trade talks slated for April 2025 will test his resolve. Can Canada hold firm without buckling under economic strain? Will Trump escalate or blink? Experts like University of Ottawa's Dr. Sarah Klein predict a stalemate. Both sides are too dug in. Carney's betting on Canadian resilience, Trump on American leverage. Others see a wild card. Could Trump's base tire of the fight, or Canada's unity crack? Under pressure. For now, Carney's got the reins. His speech wasn't just words, it was a declaration of what Canada is and isn't. Not a US appendage, not a pushover, a nation that's weathered storms before and will again. As he wrapped up on that Ottawa morning, he left the crowd with this: "We expect respect and we'll earn it together." The applause roared, the snow fell, and the line held firm. Mark Carney's first act as PM wasn't about policy details or budget lines. It was about soul. His never isn't just a rejection of Trump's bluster. It's a mirror held up to Canadians, reflecting a quiet strength that's always been there. This isn't the end of the story. Trade wars, border tensions, and political egos guarantee more chapters. But for now, Canada's new leader has planted a flag, and it's not red, white, and blue. It's red and white with a maple leaf smack in the middle, and that, folks, is a hell of a way to start a premiership.